Coach Collins, Tate Ivanyo, Camden Smith, thank you so much for joining us for our post-game press conference. What a win. Coach Collins, if you just want to talk about that comeback. Y'all are down heading into halftime, so talk about that.
Yeah, it was a great game. It was not enjoyable for me at all. We certainly started off really playing about as bad as we could possibly play. I thought just kind of got in our heads a little bit offensively, trying to do things that really weren't us. And we ended up being able to bring the pressure defensively, especially with the press, and that kind of got our mojo back, and we were able to play the way we were more accustomed to after that. But give a lot of credit to the guys to go down by a deficit. We were down by 16 at one point in the first half, but stay composed. A lot of credit goes to them. Certainly the bulk of the credit. Luckily, we're going out for another day, so happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you. Cam, we were just talking about this prior to hitting record, but you played against your brother tonight. Can you talk about how that was in the conference tournament? Emotions are high, and you played back-to-back. How was that for you?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, especially with the atmosphere that we had tonight. But he's a great player, one of the best in the league, one of the best shooters, and it honestly makes the game more intense. I mean, brother rivalry, but we ended up pulling it off, even in a close game. We started off hot, but came back, took care of business.
Yeah, thanks. Tate, we mentioned that you played Manchester literally a week ago tonight. Can you talk about that atmosphere playing again this week and it being conference tournament, moving to the finals on the line? Can you talk about the atmosphere and again playing them again, how that was on the court?
It was awesome. We really appreciate all the crowd support. It was really electric, and it brought a lot of energy to us, especially in the end of the game when I got down to it. But yeah, it was just super fun to play in.
You want to go ahead?
Sure. Coach, I hate to take you, Rob Hunt here, Bolton, your name now, sorry. Hate to take you back to the part of the game that wasn't enjoyable for you, but take me back to that timeout, 4:49. Manchester just on a 15-1 run. And like you said, the shots weren't falling, you weren't defending. Just kind of what was the message?
Yeah, we just had to refocus. That was my second time out of the half, which I don't like doing. I think that's maybe the first time that I've done that all year, because really should only use one in the first half. But we had to refocus, and I also wanted to kind of get that press situated. I started feeling like, hey, if they're just going to kind of hold the ball for the first 15 seconds of the shot clock, that's fine. We're going to press you during that time. And so that I think was the big thing that we accomplished during that timeout was we put the press in, immediately saw some dividends from that, like right away. And from that point forward, we were fine at that point. We played really well the last 25 minutes of the game. It was just a matter of if we were going to be able to come back from that deficit or not. And fortunately, we were able to make a couple plays down the stretch to get that done. But yeah, just refocus and talk about how we were going to speed up the tempo and how we felt like that could help us.
My next question was going to be about the pressure defense. I think you're right. I think that the whole tide turned there. Did either of you guys can answer this part? Coach has already talked about it a little bit. Just how that helps kind of get things going for you guys and fuel the offense.
Yeah, I think our pressure defense kind of transitioned to our offense. We weren't getting much out of the half court. We ended up getting some later, but the more we pressured defensively, the more we felt able to run the floor offensively. They were trying to slow the game down, and I feel like we just naturally play better with a sped up game. So I think overall it helped us increase the speed of the game.
Coach, I talked to you a little bit right after the game, and I think, as we said, Coach Conley had a pretty good game plan coming in. Taking away possessions, making you guys have to play, slow it down a little bit. But on the other side of it, what helps you as a team is to play a team that does something you're not used to. And tell me about that and how this can help you as you move farther in the tournament. Because the more things you see, again, gets registered in your mind and also the player's mind. Talk about that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, nobody's really tried that so far this year. Great game plan by Coach Conley, like you said. Nobody has really tried just kind of taking the air out of the ball. You don't see it a ton in college because of the shot clock. right? There's only so much you can do at college. Eventually you're going to have to shoot, but you can definitely slow the game down if you're just going to, hold the ball for the first 10, 15 seconds. So that was a great game plan by them. The slower the game goes, the more in their favor it goes, and the faster it goes, things go more in our favor. So you're correct as well that it's good for us to get that experience, and moving forward, if anybody does try it again, we can say, hey, this is the Manchester game again. We know what we're going to do. Fortunate to make some really timely plays in this one to get that experience without actually losing the game is always nice. But yeah, for sure.
You two guys at halftime, I think one of you had 3 and the other had 4 points. But on defense in your 2-3 that you're in, how hard was it to be down 18 and know they're walking it up? Well, what's going through your minds as far as, oh my gosh, this is getting ugly. We can't continue, or you get in a hole, and I've seen you guys a number of times get out of big holes, but that was starting to be a hole that was really almost too much, and yet you guys found a way, coach found a way. But what were you two thinking individually when they're dribbling up? The players, Logan, Smitty, these other guys, and that they can shoot. And what was that like from a personal experience?
It can be difficult. It kind of was for a little bit, but like Coach said earlier, that decision to put the press in really helps. But it also made us kind of, from my perspective, is we got to really lock in on the last 15 seconds of the shot clock. So they might take away the first 15, but that last 15 we really have to put an emphasis on. We got to get hands on the basketballs. We got to be active on defense, and just that sort of thing.
Yeah, I was just trying to make sure that our team kind of stayed poised. We talk about that a lot, and we haven't been down a lot this year, so it started to get stressful, but we just talked about staying together, stay poised, and then like we've been talking about, without that adjustment the game might have gone differently, but I think it was a great adjustment by Coach to press, speed the game up.
Coach, you speak to this, or if the players maybe have an answer to this. Just what was the important? Bryce was out the last 3 games. What was the importance of his return tonight? Both from a production standpoint, he made some big plays, but also just from a confidence standpoint, having a player like him back.
Huge, super important. He only had 9 points. You would look at the stat sheet and say, like, well, he didn't have his best game. But I wasn't necessarily counting on him for a huge offensive game. He hasn't played a game in 2.5 weeks, right? So it's going to take him a little while to find his full rhythm again. But rebounding is huge. The last time we played Manchester a week ago, we got whacked on the offensive glass. You look at the stat sheet today, we beat them 13-11. He's a great rebounder for his size. He's been that way since he was a freshman. Toughness, leadership, obviously he's one of our elected captains along with these 2 guys here. So even though he didn't necessarily have his best game offensively, still just a massive impact that he makes to our team for sure.
Maybe you guys can address not just the number of points, because I definitely wasn't but the timing, when you look at when he scored, how big were those? There were some moments there where he made scores in big moments.
Yeah, there were some huge buckets that he had, especially that one end of the half, that and 1-3. Yeah, that was huge. And then his couple post moves towards the end of the game, I think with under 5 minutes to go, he had a couple buckets in there. And just really
that gave you your biggest lead at 6.
Yeah,
that was,
It showed his toughness, and I mean, he really came through big time.
Guys, I played in the 70s on a couple good teams, and there's been a number of teams I've watched over the years, and I've heard crowds before. But that crowd sound, in fact, I think you broke the Ravens sound meter tonight. It was off the charts. The noise was incredible. Talk about that. Could you even tell? I mean, it was so bad that, it was deafening.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't really hear myself sometimes when I was trying to talk on defense, but yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, it was really electric.
Yeah, the support from the crowd just brings the energy up so much. Even when we're down a ton in the first half, even a couple buckets, and they're screaming, yelling and screaming, it gets us energized. So even in tough spots, every time we scored, every time we made a big stop, we just got a little bit of extra energy from them. So.
Let's do one more question.
Okay, I was just gonna ask about kind of the tale of two halves in terms of shooting today too, both teams. Was that just a matter of staying calm and remembering Manchester's not gonna shoot like that the whole game, and neither are we, that things are gonna even out back in this?
Yeah, I think that's definitely part of it. I think part of it as well that, I wasn't super surprised that we didn't shoot the ball that well in the first half because I didn't feel like we were getting great shots. I felt like it was all just one-on-one. I felt like we were way too stagnant, and that goes back to that first 15-minute segment where we weren't playing well at all. So actually, I felt like we got what we deserved offensively. I didn't feel like we deserved to have a great offensive output. And then by comparison to the second half, I thought we were getting great shots. I thought we were getting to the rim almost, every single possession, getting good looks. And so I'm not in the least bit surprised to see that we shot only 37% in the first half, but 53% in the second half. It lines up with kind of how I felt like we were playing offensively. As far as their shooting numbers, Coach Conley may have some better insight on that, but we definitely feel like with our depth that we have and the number of good players that we have, if we can speed the tempo up and grind the other team down. You look at their top three guys, Willoughby played 36, Sawyer played 36, Smith played 38. It's not easy to make shots at the end of games if you play that number of minutes, so you never know if that's the case or not, but certainly that's something that we felt throughout the season is we could be a second half team because of that.
Thank you, gentlemen. We appreciate it.
Thank you.